दोस्तों नमस्कार। पिछले हफ्ता 10 दिन में in about a week 10 days time there have been few great very path breaking events. First, attack on US president. This was the third attack, and this was inside the presidential palace or house, wherein a VVVVIP party was being organized. Earlier, these attacks happened in public, but this was in a very safe area. More than that, some of the utterings of the White House speaker, announcer, news person, have been quoted as even more disturbingly, saying they are expecting a lot of good fire, etc., etc. Back in India, some Rajya Sabha members left the party and joined another party. In other states, elections and violence and corruption all were noted everywhere. The lingering US-Iran war, Israel-US-Iran war, Israel versus all others, also have been in discussion or limelight. Question we are raising is, people elect their leaders. Leaders choose to destroy the world. Why? And if so, what is the role of public who had elected them? Can they not call them back? Can they not raise questions on there? Then what democracy are we talking about? If, despite central forces, armed forces, states can get away with violent behavior under the excuse of uniqueness, individuality, freedom, etc. What is the difference between organized state crime and criminals let loose in the society? This applies to everyone in India and outside. The question we are raising is, world is talking of democracy. More and more countries are going towards democracy. A specific war between Ukraine and Russia is going on in the name of democracy and European Union. What is this democracy where crime can happen in one state despite central forces being there and central power also being there? It applies to all, whether it is United States, whether it is India, whether it is Europe and other democratic countries who also are divided by states, organized by states. The question we are raising is, elections are fought. Why? Why elections are fought? Election should be selection and not a fight. A basic happening which is dependent on a fight will create an environment of fight, will cause fights, and will lead to fights. Therefore, the first correction is needed for elections in democratic world. These should be selection by people through voting and not by hoodwinking or by money or by power. And if such events happen, there should be a central agency who should be empowered to punish on the spot. It's not happening. It's not happening in the world. United Nations is supposed to be the group of or people who are supposed to be helping the world in maintaining peace, but they themselves depend on others for their survival. Without a strong armed force of its own, how can United Nations talk to the people and ensure that peace will prevail? Peacekeeping forces, Security Council are all people elected, very fine. But by whom? They have veto power and they fight among themselves. How can they ensure peace and prosperity in the world? Therefore, the first need is to having an international organization, international space security organization, because now space has been opened for war. A lot of discussions are taking place already in the media on likely future wars being conducted from space or being fought from space. And space was already open to bodies beyond Earth. So need is now to have an international security, space security organization for having peace on Earth, space and beyond. For this, United Nations should have their own armed force. The United Nations could be governed by elected council, like all nations are the voting members. But if votes continue only by numbers, then the same problems will start. So you need to find a new method. A method by which a council of elected wise people will conduct the space peace organization and ensure harmony in the world all around. First part. The second part. Are elections every day necessary? There has been a talk of one nation, one election. Well, parties want, in India there are around 6,000 parties, and their survival will be at stake if there is only one election, once in 5 years or 4 years or 6 years. Because where will they go to collect money? Now in the name of election in different states and places, they keep collecting money and creating chaos in the name of democracy. This needs to be stopped. Only those parties who contribute something for the national development should be allowed to participate in elections and collect funds. Rest all can work like NGOs with accountability. Most NGOs, if not most, many NGOs are being misused for collecting funds and funding unsocial activities, like recently using NGO for befooling people into religion, befooling people into unsocial activities, befooling people into crimes, and worst is the digital crime or online crime or media crime. Therefore, there is a need to rethink at the whole method of governance, election of leaders, formation and acceptance of parties if democracy has to survive. Else, God bless all. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.